things that are happy to scavenge out of beehives.
So that's like hive and honey and stuff from your last bees? And you just packed it all up to keep it safe and tasty?
Well, of course, this one isn't full, but we'll work on that in a minute.
And this is called a super?
No, this is called a deep.
A deep, okay.
But that just has to do with the depth of the hive.
I see, okay. Which is bigger, a deep or a super?
Deep is the biggest.
Deep is the biggest, okay. Ah! Sorry. Oh, gosh. His little leg.
What?
Nothing, his little leg was getting squashed.
And this one.
I want to be a good beekeeper because I've always been worried I'm squishing somebody.
Well, you know, that happens.
I know you say that, but
So we'll have to find some more frames.
Well, if they do have 60,000, then you only have 5,999.
59,999.
That's what I said.
59,000. So is that open and on the bottom?
Yeah.
So okay, so it's
Yeah, you
connected.
can see right through it.
Okay, can I peek?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So they'll move up into this pretty quickly usually.
I see.
All right, I still have to put frames in here, but in the short term, we're gonna start looking in this other hive. Did my smoker go out? It did. We'll do without. So if I don't put frames in there, Matt, you're asking about the stuff that's laying on the ground, they'll make that in the cavity that's left.
Just whatever shape they want, or will I fill like the whole thing with a giant mass?
They'll, a little bit of both.
Huh.
Oh, look at that. You need to die.
What does it need to die?
Yellow jacket.
Oh, yellow jacket.
Oh, he flew away in time.
Oh. Do you want to come over here, Elle? You want to hold my hand? Here. I'm gonna stand out here. Here. Step
Right.
one way this way. There you go. You can get where you can see, or you can be over on this side if you prefer. Make sure Ellie can see too.
So these guys are pretty full too. You can see these pretty much all the way across, all pretend frames.
Mm-hmm.
Really,
Here,
I
take
should-
2 steps
most of the stuff we're talking about,
forward.
like as far as full, if it's on 8 to 10 frames,
Uh-huh.
that's considered full.
Huh.
So this may be in the exact same shape, it may not. We'll see. See, these ones didn't get smoked, they're a little more active already.
Mm-hmm. So I know you have to worry about like mites or that kind of stuff as far as like using your old combs or anything like that, but otherwise they can't recognize that it's somebody else's comb
Oh,
and
they recognize
don't want
it's
it.
old. They want it.
They do want
I
it.
mean, it's no work,
Okay.
right? It's like moving into an abandoned house.
Ah.
Yeah, you got to do some stuff.
You just clean up a little bit and a lot of the work's already done for you instead of building a whole new house.
Yeah.
Huh.
Have you ever like used the old one that they just aren't interested in?
That wouldn't really.
Or like they just accept all of them?
Well, I mean, they'll abscond. They'll leave if they don't like it, but
Interesting.
it doesn't really happen unless there's something. Like, don't get me wrong, and if there could be, there's certain like viruses and stuff that live in the comb,
Mm-hmm.
but like mites don't stay
Mm.
over season or anything like that. All right, now we got to find evidence of a queen. At least I hope so. If not, we'll be going back into the other hive and finding a frame with an egg on it and giving it to them.
Hmm.
All right, so You see these really tall spots?
Oh, yeah.
Those are drones for sure.
Oh, are they?
So they're laying drones in that.
What are drones? Are they like baby?
Those are the male bees.
Mm.
And I can see some larvae.
Like what? All of these guys here, they're all drones if they're not a queen, or no?
No, these are all workers.
Oh.
A drone is bigger than the worker and doesn't do anything.
Oh.
So male bees literally lays around the hive. They only have one purpose, and that's reproduction.
Oh. How do you know those guys are drones then?
When you see a drone,
Well,
You'll
yeah,
know
or
it's a drone.
those cells.
because they're bigger.
Oh, okay.
They're not queen size,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not worker size.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
So the drone is kind of just right in between.
Yeah, drone's a little, not much more than a big worker bee. They're easy to pick out though because they've got real big heads.
Oh.
All right,
All right.
so you see this one. This is where she's been laying. So that's all worker bee,
Yeah, and they're flat.
right?
And the bees, when they have their little heads like in the honeycomb.
They might be feeding the pupa,
Okay.
or they're cleaning, or whatever.
I see. There's a bunch of them on that one that you just took out. Like that.
And how often do you do this whole like hive look through?
Oh, I do it maybe once a month. And then really it's right now is the time I want to be on top of things. In the winter I won't go in here at all.
And is that because there's just not much activity because there's not many blooming flowers?
Yeah, pretty much. So this one too has some interesting cells on the next frame. We'll see what's going on. And this is really the first time I've been in these hives since were established, so I'm spending more time in here than I normally would even.
Thanks for showing us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh,
This is
wow.
So cool.
Yeah, there's some big old bulbousy ones there.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
but they have
those
a
aren't-
hole.
Those aren't queen cells.
Okay.
They look like drone cells that got used there. They're kind of odd.
Mm-hmm.
Might have something to do with how they were cleaning up the hive or something like that. All right. This one actually does not have as many bees on it as I thought it might. Probably still okay to grow it.
Wait, what is that like food for them?
That's what said it was the like
Pollen.
pollen and the pollen patty, and it has sugar and stuff in it too. It's something just to kind of get them started to eat. See, and you can see it looks like they like it, huh?
Does it have like paper on it?
Yeah, it looks like it's protected in something.
Do you wait until they eat that all? Or
I think he said he just uses that to get them started.
Yeah, I have a lot of them. Usually use it in the spring before they can find stuff to get them to encourage laying earlier.
Do you like put out a new one every spring or just every time you get a new hive?
Usually in the spring as a general rule. But you might use it in the summer or depending on what's going on.
But like even if you have these guys for let's say 3 years, you'll put it out every spring
Yeah.
or summer. Interesting.
So what's that bulbousy one at the top there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, on the closer to your left hand. Yeah, that. Oh, I see. It's the same kind of thing. It's a big open cell, but it just
Yeah.
kind of like
So-
bulbed out.
Yeah, so it's a drone one there.
Huh.
The comb must have been funny shaped, and they just laid in it because it was available.
And the holes of the ones that are open, is that, did they not seal those, you think, or did they not
A
open
lot of
everything?
different things could be. So it could have been something in it that's recently hatched. Could be. I try to buy bees that are hygienic. So if there's like a mite or something wrong with the bees, the pupa, they'll take it out before it grows.
The bees will.
Yeah.
Oh, see, like the all the random holes, because you'd think, as much as they're so particular about the shapes of the honeycomb, and that I would think that they would fill them up in an orderly manner, also. And then I would think they would hatch in an orderly manner, not just have like kind of
No.
random ones.
So then when they do hatch, they just like pretty much just
So
eat
like
their
on
way
this
out.
frame, most of the ones that are empty, not most, a lot of the ones that are empty have like bee bread or honey in them. So when the bees hatch, they can find it easy.
And this bit, that's not filled, this comb, that's wax, or that's
Yeah.
a substrate you provided?
No, that's wax.
But it's okay, so it's a wax that you provided, but other bees made.
No, they made it. So you can see this one
Yeah,
has
it's just-
foundation. It's got the white plastic in it.
Oh,
But anything above the plastic is what they made.
no kidding. Yeah, it's such an organized structure.
It really is.
It's just mind-boggling.
So then they just eat their way out when they hatch.
They eat their way through the wax. Yeah.
Interesting.
Ooh,
And that has lots of bees on it.
it does. It's really globbed up.
So is there any sort of pattern to how like often they just swarm out, or is it
So
just when it gets too full?
if you understood exactly how swarms work, you'd be a millionaire.
Okay.
But in short, that's how they reproduce. So sometimes it doesn't even seem to matter. They're just like, we doing this. Doesn't matter if it's cold, doesn't matter that they're probably going to fail, that there's not enough bees or whatever. But generally speaking, if the hive is too full, they'll do a swarm for sure.
Interesting. So it's not like, it's been 2 months, then you can expect to have a whole new swarm.
See that one doing a dance?
Where? Oh yeah, I see. Okay.
Which one? Hmm. It's cool.
I was hoping if I was patient, we'd see the queen, but
So where do you suppose she is?
well, so it's hard because she can be in a spot just like this,
And we just don't.
and you don't see her.
Because she's covered with people.
Yep. Well, and there's nurse bees that take care of her. So a queen can literally be hidden. So what's going on here? There's some activity in there, so she might be somewhere right there. We play this game on the internet all the time. Find the queen, right? You'll take a picture of a frame that you have the queen on it, and it's really easy to see it when they're not moving around. But when they're moving around like they are right now, it's like okay. And usually I'm pretty good at it, but
Interesting.